Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fashion Summit Hong Kong 2020 Fashion Incubation Seminar. We have altogether more than 15 webinars on International Sourcing Show Online Intelligence Hub. Please visit Intelligence Hub on our ISS website and gain insights from industry experts. Apart from joining the webinars, don't miss the chance to meet with your potential suppliers by using our AI-powered click-to-match business matching platform. Please be reminded to register if you haven't done so. This webinar will be conducted in English and no simultaneous interpretation will be provided. 請留意，研討會將會以英語進行，不設即時傳譯。Without further ado, let's get started.
So today, Fashion Summit has invited 4 local Hong Kong fashion designers to join our panel discussion, and they will share how their experiences. So let's give a warm welcome to our moderator, Professor Yeung Kwok-wing, Executive Director of Clothing Industry Training Authority. Please proceed on stage. This way, please. So let's give a big hand to welcome our guest speakers, Mr. Jesse Lee, fashion designer. Ms. Debbie Leung, founder of Hong Kong Craft Center. Mr. Angus Tsui, creative director of Angus Tsui. And also Mr. Yeung, founder of Yeung. Please join us for the panel discussion. And now, let me pass the stage to Professor Yeung. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the second part of the for our panel discussion, how I start up with incubation program. Now, we are very honored to have 4 quite well-established, in fact, right, designers in Hong Kong who have benefited from the incubation program in the past. I understand one of you haven't benefited any such program, and that is why we really want to share with you how you feel about the incubation program. Before we start the discussion, you have agreed to give a presentation, right, to briefly introduce yourself to the audience. May I start with Yeung Chin, right?
Yeah, please pass the remote control. Thank you. Hi, my name is Yeung Chin. Now let's talk about my brand. Yes, my brand is about fashion, art, theater, and education. Around this, all is my job every day. So my brand mostly is avant-garde style. I will use the presentation to present my brand like an art form and performance art. You can see like this in Hong Kong Center Stage, Spring/Summer 2021. And then we will go to the, have a chance from funding from DRF, TDC, and Fashion Fund Foundation. We will go to like London Fashion Week. You can see 2020. We go to the London Fashion Week. We have an amazing setup. The setup is my own idea, and then set up by myself. And then if many shows can give us our space, and then fit for our concept, I think this is very good for present our unique concept. Like and then every season we will go to London, Paris, and then Shanghai and Hong Kong. And then this is the Fashion Fund Foundation to support us to go to the Paris Fashion Week. We will do the showroom and then the fashion show. The showroom we can meet a different country client. So Next, we will go to Shanghai. This is the last station for each season, for every season. The Shanghai Fashion Week, we also have a trade fair supported by TDC, and then sometime we will have a show. Another we can see the Dubai Fashion Week. This is our first time to join the Dubai Fashion Week. This is a very interesting experience. This page is brand, but I remember that is my stockist. So after many trade shows and then the fashion shows, and then we have a different stockists from USA, Paris, Milan, Japan, and Hong Kong. So around 30 stockists in the world. So talk about my brand, and other side is art. I have many experience to do the art project. For example, the Detour exhibition in PMQ, and then my shop also in PMQ. Thanks PMQ to support us around 6 years. And then from Design Center, we got a very unique show in Asia Society. And then after that, we have another chance to Singapore Design Center to do the same the exhibition. And then talk about the theater. I do many costume design for CCDC and Hong Kong Ballet. But this one is my first time to do the set design. So I talk about my career is like this very interesting part, the theater and then the costume. The education, I'm teach in HKDI, and then I teach them about the men's tailoring. And then the secondary school, I also have like artist in residence. Also, I have some workshop in my shop. I have like a cyanotype workshop, the cyanotype print to develop a tools collection in my brand, and then the indigo dye. And then I developed a new felting scarf and then felting collection for next season. So I would like to learn more about the fabric and then the different craftsmanship, and then to put in my collection, and then to teach a different client or some interesting fashion people. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. May I now ask Angus?
Hi everyone, I'm Angus Tsui, and I'm the creative director and founder of my own namesake label, Angus Tsui. And I've been doing my sustainable fashion label since 2014. And so it's been around like 6 years now, and there are 3 main cross of my brand, which is futuristic, experimental, and also sustainable. Because as a designer, I think this is our responsibility to create, to make our imagination to be the, to be a reality, and also it is our responsibility to advocate the concept of sustainability, because our fashion industry has been one of the most polluted industry in the world. And so before I start the video, I would like to say more about my brand, which is we have been doing not just creating collections, but we are thinking about the education is also one of the important keys to change people's like their consumption, like the overconsumption or their consumption habits. So this is why we created a program called NCARES to advocate the concept of sustainability through different collaboration with corporates, organizations, or even different colleagues. And I would say my brand, or as me as a designer, I'm sort of like a creation through under those incubation programs, because I started my careers by seeing different industry experts, like in London or even in different places through the cultural trip. It was one of them actually created by the EcoSheet Design Award, which is now the REDRESS Design Award. And then I have the opportunities to join different, like the Upcycling Center and the Fashion Incubation Program, and as well as there's 1 year I went to London to learn from, we call her Upcycling Queen, Aurora Di Castro, and which is under the program of Great Hong Kong as well. The program name is called Young Designer Award. So I think I'm sort of like a relatively effective example from all these incubation program, and what the video I'm going to show, which is one of the things that I've done under the fashion incubation program, because they have the grants for us to go to different fashion week and different presentation. And this time we went to London for the London Fashion Week and presented our latest collection. Do you mind please play the video?
Next, Debbie.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. I'm very privileged, and thank you for the organizer to invite me to come here, because I'm really not a fashion designer. So throughout this PPT, I'll explain what I do, and I'm very privileged to be with the other talented designers, and would like to expand my exposure and see how the incubation program in Hong Kong helped them, and see from our area, more like a craftsman and educator, how we can help the other designers to expand their horizon as well. So we can start the PPT, please. Sorry. Okay, so I have a very different identity. I don't think I'm a fashion designer because I'm not trained as such professionally. I'm not professionally trained as craft woman because a lot of times I'm self-taught, although I have followed a lot of international master in my fields. I teach a lot, and I promote a lot of cultural events and activities, for example, CHUNG. So in my own development, I always think I should not box myself in just one area. And I have a vast exposure and learning experience with different craft, different art, different profession, I would say. It's not related to fashion. But I really enjoy this very rich life that actually make me deeper and wider. So I have many hats, done a lot of different media in art and craft. And it actually enriches me. So I'm really, really happy for what I can do as somebody and nobody. So this is a little video about my work life, and you can see how I work. How do I start the video? you can see my work, I start not from a fabric, that is more traditionally with a fashion designer. I start with a strand of fiber. So I'm very glad that Yeung is starting to felt. I'm really, really happy that talented designers are starting to go into this field. This is a very, very ancient craft. This is the oldest man-made fiber that we have put on ourselves to protect ourselves, to make ourselves look beautiful, apart from killing an animal, which I don't like to do. So it is a very, very good news, Yeung, thank you. And here is, after all these hard work every day with a strand of fiber, laying it down, wetting it, felling, fooling, fitting, here is some of my work on the stage. So this is my first collection at the Hong Kong Fashion Week. I adopted a lot of recycled materials, like this one. It's all scrap, except the base material, that is the silk. And you can also pay some attention to the berets that the models are wearing. All 8 of them is a series of artwork. So talk about these hats. They are actually one of the words that a lot of us know if we can write Chinese, or even foreigners who start Chinese calligraphy. These 8 strokes is the basic strokes, just like the elements of 26 alphabets of English. So this, if we flatten the beret on the floor, it will actually compose the word Yeung, Wing. It means also forever and sustainable. So this is a philosophy of my practice. So it's a sustainable practice, and it's also the first word that you learn from calligraphy, which I think is a very good cycle for everything. So this is the second show I have, Eclipse. So it's all formed with the circles, and also it's about fulfillment and circle of life and nature. So I do a bit more millinery technique with my felt, and also footwear. So bags and hats and gloves, all sorts. This is just a quick glimpse. So I teach a lot, as I said before, overseas and in Hong Kong. So it's to promote felt, which is my main craft, using wool and a lot of silk as well. And apart from that, I use natural dye a lot, and I investigate, research a lot about ancient recipes, especially Chinese ones. And I have a project that I bring, I call it mobile dye port. I bring a lot of materials and go over places that invite me to show them and how to do, especially indigo and other ancient recipes. And this is one of them as well. So a few years ago, I started to merge my 2 interests, cheongsam making and felt. So I started a felt collection of cheongsam. And the special thing about this cheongsam project, different from a fabric, is a lot of them I use seamless technique. Even the collar is not put on. It's seamless and dartless. By using special technique of felt, I can string it in different positions so that it can become 3D. And just 3 years ago, I started to try to promote more felt cheongsam and starting to have this project called Little One's Adventure. It's a little mini cheongsam that I can teach in 3 hours of how magical wool felt is, and together with the cheongsam culture and protocol. So I will make this little cheongsam project to become educational tools for myself. so to teach little girls and women as well how powerful we can be as a woman. We can do things that we cannot imagine we can do. Thank you.
Right. Last but not least, Jesse.
Hey everyone, I'm Jesse Lee. I'm a fashion designer, and currently I'm doing my MA menswear at University of Westminster. And I love to solve problems in a playful and unexpected way with fashion. And last April, I launched my first debut collection with the Art Collective and Levi's, and it's all about upcycling denim. We use the leftover and irregular inventory from Levi's to do this collection. And as you see, from the jacket, dress to jeans, it's all upcycling from jeans. So this video will show you some of our journey of this collection.咁我呢個系列就係想可以俾到一個新嘅生命俾一啲冇人要或者係被遺棄嘅衣物啦。呢件褸嘅下半部分呢啲patches 就係其實係喺呢一條牛仔褲本身呢個喐位拆出嚟。As you see from the video, this collection we work closely with the factory to upcycling the denim with us, and it's a really challenging project because it's easy to upcycling just one jeans or a few jeans to a art piece or one of a kind pieces, but in this collection we upscaled the whole process, and that's why we work with a really great factory with us, and sorry, and even our photo shooting is did at the factory as well. But for me, fashion is not just about an image or like this photo is poetic, elegant, or that's it. It's more about how the fashion bring it to life, our creation come to people's wardrobes at home. Like this slide show you how the look at the photo shoot, and also my mom's wearing my design. So I believe that fashion is not just about how elegant it is, but also bring those elegant to life and let people enjoy it. So, and also luckily our collection is, if you want to get more pieces from my collection, you can still get it's from the artcollective.com, yeah. And of course I'm not just only about denim. I also do work with different materials like organic cotton or upcycling different materials like umbrellas or curtains, and yeah. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you all for speakers, providing us with a very interesting summary of your work as well as some of your philosophy in conducting your business. Now, may I start with some more generic discussion first? Now, judging from your presentation as well as our understanding of the fashion industry in Hong Kong, we do have many talents, right? Like yourselves, and as well as we are very good in producing, in making up the garments, right? But in fact, Hong Kong, although we say ourselves as the fashion hub, right? But really, there is very difficult for us to really compete with like a design hub like Milan, like London, like New York, right? Is it impossible for us to even come close to them, or is it really not necessary? So we can somehow attach to them and build our reputation. Yeung and Angus, you have enough experience, right, in overseas fashion shows. In fact, the Hong Kong fashion show will never be able to attract talents, right, from elsewhere to come for us to show. Why is that, or is there anything that we can do to improve on such situation? Maybe we start with, it's not an easy question, not an easy answer, right? But let's hear from you, because you have lots of experience.
I would say that's the key to success in a brand is one of the most important things is the designer's own quality, the work of how he presented, and also how he engage with the market and also his customer is also one of the most important things. And the other one will be the awareness from the society and also the support from the government or different organization is also very important. To me, as a designer, I started my label in 2014, and when I was it's right after I graduated from the design college. And so I think, because as a designer, we are always being imaginative and more innovative and to all the stuff we do. But we are sort of lacking of the business aspect and also some professional angles from the industry. And so this is why we need all these incubation programs to support us to make us more mature in terms of our business and also us as designers. And throughout the years, we have been joining different programs and different fashion weeks and even different presentations. I think we all have the potential and also the talents from Hong Kong or even from different designers. And I think people all around the world, they are admiring what we are doing and what we have done. But what we need at the moment is not just presenting your collection, but those things after presenting your collection, which is the more like into the supply chain, like how you maximize your collection into productions, and also how you do the marketing, how you, especially in Hong Kong, we are all focusing on more like the economic side. So people are sort of like, they don't have the chance to dress up or wear the local designer stuff because they need something more practical and more commercial. I think this is some of the problems that what we are facing now, because we need to educate the people to admire our culture and also our creations. But I think it's more like a long-term stuff that we need to change. We need to spend time to show them what we can do, and also we are competitive compared to all these global competitors or different countries the brands from different countries. So this is what I think the importance of the incubation programs.
Yeung?
Yeah, I also agree with Angus. I'm happy to Hong Kong has many support Hong Kong designer, and then I got many support too. I think we need to very uniqueness to present our brand concept. And then we have to like a freedom space to present our work from the stage and then the clothes and then music, everything. But now in Hong Kong fashion show, we don't have like a space because we had like a group show, like a 5 designer joined one show. We share the stage, and then so we have like this limitation. And then this is about the design part. And then the overall, I think we have to more like an ecosystem. We have to more R&D for different category, like a fabric category, and then the production, and then the designer. And then they can work together. For example, we have like a handcraft, like a felting. We have to collaborate with a technology person. We can how to improve the like the felting with the technology. That's why we can find some uniqueness to sell our product, and then have a many storytelling. And then another one, we like more like collaboration with the film people, I think. Yeah, because we have like all is online, and then Hong Kong film industry is very good in the world. So we can like collaborate with different parts of people, music, film, and then the performing art. We can pay together.
Okay. Now. In certain aspect, Hong Kong is renowned now, right? I would feel as our creativity, right? And also with emerging young designers like you, right? But we are lack of the support of the textile, right? The new textiles, and that's why you're using felting as a means to promote such creativity. Now. And then also the actual production will be difficult for you, right? Especially under the current COVID-19, right? How do you see Hong Kong can actually build up, like you say, the technology, actually the production? Is there ways that actually we can have at least certain niche products that can still be made in Hong Kong? For you, right? Especially for the young designers, is it really commercially viable to do that?
I think we no need just push the fashion design, because fashion is about the different part. For example, the pattern. When I was young, I studied in SITA. Also, I have learned pattern sewing. It's a more focus on this. We also need like a technical person. Yeah, I think we need to push the education from different parts of the fashion industry, and then we can go on.
Okay. Angus?
I would say we really want to make everything which is made in Hong Kong, and of course, and we do have some samples and some small quantities production that's happening in Hong Kong. But I would say the things that we can't make, we are not able to make it big at the moment is because all the salary, all the rent is all related. This is why the cost is so high for us to bear, or even for a larger production, because we don't have enough sewing lady or workers or tailors in the industry, and most of them are retired or they changed their their job nature. So I think I know some of the government funding program is doing something in the same shape, but I think it takes time for us to make the garment industry in Hong Kong great again. So I think it takes time, but if we really have a choice to choose, we really like to make all the stuff in Hong Kong to present it, because we have all the qualities and we have all the talents, and we just need support from the government or even from different society. So.
Okay. Maybe I will start with Jessie first, right? Because you are even now you are a younger generation, I think, right? And how do you feel this? How do you see that? In what aspect that you can contribute to a better image so that Hong Kong can really be seen, at least in fashion hub in Asia or around this area?
Yeah, for me, I think in Hong Kong there's a variety of different designers, creativities here. But I think because I spent most of my academic years in London, so what's the difference between London Fashion Week to Hong Kong Fashion Week is how they celebrate the activities. Like, I think in Hong Kong we should do more on how to breaking the bubbles of, like, because we are all working in fashion industry, we know who is doing what, but what about someone in food industry or doing computer works? Like, but in London, it's like the government will celebrate this fashion week no matter at the MTR train station or the different fashion brand will put on the poster to get attention from the publics, rather than doing in a small bubble. Yeah, and I believe that if more local people getting to know what we are doing, the whole culture and environment will getting up, because I really believe in Hong Kong there's more potential to growth. Like, I really obsessed with what Fashion Farm Foundation doing the Friday. I went for a pop-up store last few months, and I think that's a really good start to get designers and the consumer knowing each other without like the pieces being selected by buyers or different huge department store to think too much element to concern. Yeah.
Debbie, of course, right? You are a multi-faceted, multi-talented designer. I would, of course, you are a designer, right? But you're more than just a fashion designer, right? So rather than Hong Kong just as a fashion hub, can really Hong Kong be a design hub?
I think there's a potential, and our youngsters are very talented, and they have a free spirit. And I think it's a lot of things we can do to nurture these talents, starting from parents, of course. They have to bring them up to expose to other many art and craft areas, the history and culture. I think it's starting from the general education first. Then we have that appreciation of good things. Quality is very important. We do not want to strive for quantity. Hong Kong is not for quantity. We should have our role in the international stage as a quality design hub. So, and when we get to the professional training, I think a lot of education institutions can deepen, I really do think, deepen their studies in different aspects of the industry, not just digital design or doing pattern making and sewing. I think they need a lot of wider knowledge about, like, putting in, as my field, some old tradition, how they can put it into their hands and feel it. And when it's the journey, the creation is part of the journey. So that will help them to think over the process, rather than, I understand, I hope I didn't offend anybody, that when they do the graduation show, a lot of them actually contract out to people to make it for them. So I think they've lost a lot of the learning process if the school will let them just pass out this important learning process in their graduation. So all these can help with their consciousness. Making is creating. That's what I think.
So start with the younger generation, right?
Yes, that's how we, if we go out, and I think Jesse probably and other designers who have exposed to other design culture, you can see the Europeans, the Americans, they are all different. They don't look at things of, create, and then it's like hardcore create, draw things. It is in their heart, in their culture. They brought them up going to museum, and they appreciate paintings, literature, other things that make the mind refresh and have the culture sink in. Then they can create. You can just, I don't think you can get quality design by just looking at fashion shows every year, looking at copying magazine styles. I don't think that is what we want to go.
Yeah. So we should start with the youngsters, right? Studying the secondary school, even the primary school, right? So
Yes.
that
Starting when they were in the mommy's tummy.
Okay, so the incubation program will start at the very beginning. Okay, now let's come back to really more focus on the incubation program then, right? Yeung and Angus, you both have benefited from the incubation program, right? Debbie, you know very little about this, right?
I only know that I'm not qualified to apply.
Okay, and Jesse, right? You have benefited from not exactly the incubation program. Maybe we can start first from you. How is your experience, and how actually you see that such experience can be enhanced or even improved, right? In any way.
Yeah, actually, since I found FIP or DIP program, I was feel really lucky to be a Hong Kong fashion designer, because it's quite special to get that support from the government to build up your own business in the creative industry. But I think that is a bit too, how to say, the period of time is a bit short, and because I think 2 years is too short for a startup to build up a really sustainable business, especially in fashion. Because there's just, I know that there's because my friends in Taiwan who start his own business, and he is quite similar but different to how Taiwan government helping young designer. Like they offer funding to designer, but in Hong Kong there's quite in a form that is not really matched with the fashion design period, because fashion designer doing work season by season at this point. And I think maybe the program can be more tailored to what designer or what kind of design they're doing. Like Taiwan, they support designer by each season. My friends selected to be showcased in Taipei Fashion Week. And for this season, he got quite good amounts of funding to support him to build his collection. And then the next time he can register again. Like, I think that's, this kind of project-based funding can help designer to doing a better work. Yeah, and yeah.
But as a whole, you have benefited from such programs, right? You have benefited from the programs. Right?
Not me, my friends in Taiwan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm not talking about the Taiwan program because in Hong Kong you also have some support from different sources of funding, right, to help you to develop as a young designer, right?
Yeah, for me, at this moment, because I won the REDRESS Design Award, and I got many exposure over the world, and also get to know different sustainable fashion designer around the world. But in Hong Kong, I feel like the opportunity is more random rather than helping me to building up a sustainable business for me. Yeah, and yeah.
Okay. What any other support that you wish you can have?
Yeah.
May not be from government, right? Maybe from industry, from the entrepreneurs, right? So I do think if we put too much stress on government support, sometimes it is difficult, right? But because Hong Kong still have a major fashion industry, right? Some of our companies are world-leading companies, right? Can they really be more? How I put it? Put more on the developing young designers.
Yeah, for me, I think
like you're working on jeans, right? For example, how does the jeans industry in Hong Kong help you in any way? Is there?
Yeah, actually, I got a lot good feedback from the industry, and we did some conversation between the industry expert. And however, I think because of the pandemic now, many projects got postponed or we have to be more careful about what we are doing. But I feel like because the nature of Hong Kong, the rent or the human force is quite expensive. So I think there's always have space for having more funding to build up a brand and support. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I say something? Because as Jean and I always we are benefited from all these incubation programs. I would say there is always a positive pros and cons from all these kind of programs, because they always have a different period to review the incubation process to see what they can improve and what should us the best. And I would say the thing I like from this incubation program is they have a lot of like a mentorship from the industry expert, and also they have different empowerment workshops and seminars or different kind of activities. Especially, I like developing pattern cuttings in my own brand, and we have new cuttings and new patterns for every season. And I think they have the resources for us to even learn. To take classes from local experience tailored, which really help us to make up what we have missed during the studies in Hong Kong or in different universities. Because everyone is rushing and you don't have
lots of time to experiment or even go deep in that topic or in that field. But the cons thing, I think, is the incubation program is helping you to sustain your business instead of keep feeding your business. At the end of the day, your business need to it needs to be sellable, it needs to be marketable. You need to help your brand to sustain instead of just asking for the fundings or something from the governments or other organizations. I think this makes sense, right? But I think the thing we can do or further improve this incubation program is maybe we can have different length of the incubation period, because different designers have different, they have different steps and they have different process. And I think maybe there can be in the future, there can be an overseas version of the incubation program. Because at the end of the day, as you said, we want to be competitive with global brands or global competitors. Because we may not just based in Hong Kong, maybe we will based in China or based in Europe, and we may still need some support from the program or from the incubation organization. So it's something that we can think or rephrase the program to make it better to fit in different brands situations. So this is something I'm thinking about.
Chin?
Yeah, I'm also very positive for the program, but I think the time period, just 2 years. For 2 years, you expect the brand can sustain, can build up very well. I think need more time. I work in my brand or my career around 20 years. Near this 6th year, I got some success award or something, good feedback. So I take time. 2 years for the incubation program is too short. And then the mentor, you said, Angus said, I think that's a very good for help us, but also too short. Every mentor we met one time or mostly 2 times. I think 2 years we have one mentor to help us to think the development and the marketing or something to grow with us. I think this is very important.
Debbie, as a non-beneficiary, how do you see the incubation program and maybe some other type of supporting programs? And actually, of course, they have benefits, right? How do you see that how can it be really expand, and how can it be actually have some more impact for the young designers?
It's just my humble opinion. I don't know whether it's feasible. Maybe this incubation program can be a part of a sandwich mentorship, as Angus said, in the industry itself. So it's not just a designer hiding themselves in a studio or office and making their own thing. I think the industry, if they are open and support the design creativity of these designers, it is also their future. They can merge and go and work with them together for a certain period of time. Then the designer can have output with the industry, like textile company or design brands, and then the designer can have practical experience in how things work out. So I think this is a more realistic and a win-win situation. And either it can be an incubation after they graduate from design college, or we can try to put it in one of these design college program, the syllabus. I understand some of them have, in summer, they have some internship to go to, and the student applies or the industry opens some offerings, but they're really too short. The students actually can't learn too much, apart from having some connections. And if the the education, the design program can have the capacity to extend maybe half year or a year, that can let the students to have a 1 year, half year submerge themselves into the industry. I think it will help the practical experience as well as to help the industry. And by the time they graduate, they probably have a lot more things to offer.
So is it a consensus that such programs, of course, it has benefits, but how it can be actually expand to even the schools, right? And
yeah, the design colleges.
Okay, rather than just for designers, especially like the FIP program, because you have the reputation, and that's why they put more emphasis. Now that's fine, but for other like the IPs and also some other incubation program, maybe it can be expanded to even to students.
Yes, the initiatives may not be from the government. It can be from the industry themselves. We have to make it a collaborative effort, I think.
Yeah, I think so. As you mentioned earlier, and also by the first session, many of you, many incubators find the most beneficial is the contact with the industry, right? But now I think the industry have actually put not much emphasis on developing their own incubation programs, right? It is all from government. And that's why earlier I said to you whether you consider you have enough support from industry, all right? I do think your suggestion is that why can't the industries have initiate their own incubation program to nurture even those who are studying in the high schools, and so that they become very interested in the fashion industry, and so that more and more of the youngsters can be involved in future. So this is something new for them to consider. I think this is good, right? Well, maybe especially from you two, because you have experience. You talk about more the pros, right? What about the actual cons? What about actual something that you feel have actually undermined your work? Is there such occasion that you feel incubation programs, how it can be actually enhanced, how can be actually improved?
Like I said, I really want the overseas version of the incubation program, because we are planning, because at the end of the day, we would like to expand our business globally, and not just in Hong Kong or even in mainland, but we want to, because the market out there is much bigger, and we always want to let people know, because Hong Kong people have a habit of like, they admired your brand when you're famous globally. So I think sometimes I think if we are base our business in different places, it sort of like erase our limitations from locally or geographically, and I think it is something that we can improve. The other thing is not just the period, but also the resources we are getting, because during the program, I think it's good to have all the grants to do different projects and go to different fashion weeks. But I think at the end of the day, we may need some more business aspect from how we manage all the resources we got, and how just saying all the marketing, all the accounting, and how you manage your business is one of the fashion designer, every designers are facing. So I think this is not just design aspect, but also business aspect that we need to focus more during this period. Yeah.
And then I would like to go through the points of view to like collaborate with the supplier, the fabric supplier on the industry. I think that is very important in Hong Kong. We sell our product, we need two products, and then we do the product, we need the production and then the fabric supply. If we can work together from the fabric, work with the fabric supplier to design or development. And then we find some good quality production factory to support us. And then we sell our product to the world. And then this is very good idea to have this collaboration. And then, but I can't see this collaboration in our industry can success. So this is idea to voice out, to try make this collaboration. And then the next step, we have to think the education. Yeah, I think this is very important to primary and secondary school. And then the sitter, I have very, how to develop the sitter. When the denim, we have to wash factory, but the wash factory, how many wash factory in Hong Kong now? Three or two? Yeah. If Hong Kong, the fashion hub have like have the different department, for example, the wash and then the fabric, and then all the technical in this one building support the designer to do this. And it's very supporting for Hong Kong designer. I hear that one machine in Polytech, they have no need to wash. You do a laser cut and then to make the wash effect on the denim. But I just hear that. I never seen, I never tried in the Polytechnic. So I think this is the problem.
I don't know whether any one of you has experience with Dong Dai Mun in Seoul. Dong Dai Mun. You have, right? They have a complete setup like what you suggest. They have.
That's great. That's great.
That's why the Koreans, right? They can produce all their designs or their products actually in Dong Dai Mun area. They have many small garment manufacturers, right? They can cut fabrics. They have dyeing facilities in Daegu. So whatever you need, whatever designers want, they can actually produce. But it is something very difficult for Hong Kong now, right? How we can actually work together with, I'm not sure, with Guangdong, right? In how we have a more holistic approach. What you're saying is really a holistic approach in how to visualize or how to realize the designer stream, all right, of a product. Now, in my thinking is that in Seoul, in Korea, South Korea, they can actually do that. All right. So let's move into one area which we all consider very important. We had the speakers earlier also say, and Angus, you said you put sustainability very as one of your top consideration. How do you see incubation programs and actually enhance this very important issue? Should it be a major consideration in awarding or in the selection criteria, in the selection process for those who can actually join the incubation program?
I would say not just the incubation program, but also all the industry and also corporates focusing more on this field, which is making their business more sustainable. Because as I mentioned, not just my brand using all the wastes or all the, because we are newly introducing the interchangeable things, the interchangeable designs, that we are seeing something like in the future, we may just purchase garment parts, just like a sleeve or a collar from the brands, and then we can put it on our existing garments, and then we can lower the waste and also the consumption created during this process. But what we are trying to do, which is bigger from the community side, which is what my program Angus is doing, is collaborating with different like hotels or different corporates to create or we use or recycle their waste from their, their business, and then we create something which is just like uniforms or some products that they can use in their business again. So it's more like a cycle for different industry or even different corporates to do it. And in a more community side, I can see more people are more aware to this topic because they are looking for something upcycled, with something organic and with less pollutions. And I can see people are changing compared what we are doing from the beginning, like in 2012. And then there's 8 years now, and we can see people are really having a more mature mind, and they are treating their garments, their wardrobe rights with a more, more correct consumption habits, and also they have their mindset is changing as well. So I think this is one of the most important things we need to think of, which is the sustainability in different industry and different aspects.
Debbie, you also have experience, right, in the sustainability issue, right? And how do you see this should become a criteria for selecting incubation programs?
I think sustainability is not a choice now. It's the future. We can't just keep using and throwing away. So I think if we make it as a criteria, and it actually make a very good example for all the designers, may it be inside the incubation program or not, they should be aware that that's how we should make things. And people should also be aware this is an essential element of the social responsibility of creative industry.
It's sustainability, I mean both, right? Environment as well as social. So.
Yes, definitely. And also the designer's brand also needs to be sustainable. So how how it works, not just keep making big names about sustainability, but also the designer's brand also needs to practice, and then their own brand needs to sustain as well. So I think there are three things involved in sustainability.
Okay. Jesse?
Yes, for me, I think it's a really good point to consider sustainability too. Because for me, as a this generation designer, I think it's a common sense for all of us, and to know what our creation costs. It's not only like the material bought, the money it costs, but also costing the nature and the environment, and also the people who are working for us. So we have to balance everything to make it go forward.
Okay. Chin?
I work with the Environment Protect department in Hong Kong. They have a shop called 6 to recycling product. I help them to make a uniform. I use recycled polyester, and then I share this experience to help for the client or for the end customer to know that sustainable fabric is more expensive than normal fabric. Yeah, they need to know that. So we have to spend more money. So it's very difficult to push the client to know I have to spend more money to pay this. I think this have to education to them.
It's still coming back to consumers, whether the consumer really demands such products, right? Yeah. So it's a long process, but we all live in just this tiny earth, right? And so we have to do something, right? I'm sure. I understand there are some questions, right? Okay, please.
Yes. Okay, so now let's move on to the Q&A session. We have also collected some questions from the online audience. The first question to all of our guest speakers: when you start up your brands and business, what's the most difficult thing? How to sort it out? So maybe
Chin, you
Yeung
first.
Chin?
Difficulty is because after that I work in a big company, and then I have many staff to help me to do everything. But when I start my business, all workload in my mind, the sales in my shop, the marketing person. So I just want to focus on design, and but yeah, at that moment, 6 years, also is the same. I just have one assistant to help me to do something. Yeah, this is very hard to do the manpower, and also it's actually many designers can share some sources, like marketing sources or accountant sources like this.
Angus?
I would say during the early stage of my career of my brand, and I would say we did spend a amount of time to finding our right direction in terms of the aesthetic and also the design directions, because we are thinking to those who know my brand, we are relatively more experimental and futuristic, and sometimes it cannot be that grounded for the audience, and this is why we spend some time to find the right direction to make a balance between creativity and also the marketability. And also, but I would say throughout the years, I keep learning from the industry, from different experts, from different brands. That really helps me, and especially the incubation programs, and really helps me to mature my mind, and especially for the business side, that we know how our audience wants our products, and or is there anything we are doing great and anything we can keep improving? It's sort of like this. So I think it takes time, and keep learning is the key to overcome those challenges. Yeah.
Debbie?
For me, because I'm a little different, I use fiber first. So the first thing I need is space. I need a lot of space to make things, because I'm the only one who involved in production. So apart from space, the second most important, difficult thing for me is marketing. How to get your name and your brand out to the others.
And Jesse?
Jesse?
Yeah, for me, the space too, because especially in Hong Kong, like not everyone have much space much space at home, or the power to get a praise outside. So I think, yeah, when I want to do something more bigger, it's always a challenge for me to how to realize those dreams. Yeah.
Thank you. And the other questions to Angus and Yeung Chin. Some designers have joined apprenticeships with brands and designer house. Is it more effective than incubation program? Maybe Angus first.
I would say, as I always said, at the end of the day, it's all about the designer's qualities and of his work, and also the business mindset of their brand. Because I don't think you need to join any fashion incubation program, or if different design firms to run your business, because as long as you have a clear directions of in terms of the marketing, your design directions, and how you engage with your audience, of course, with all the resources, like without resources, without money, without all kind of support, we can't sustain our business. So I think as long as we have clear directions, we can find even investments or different kind of things to run our business. So this is not the only way or only solution to run our business. So this is what I'm thinking.
Okay. How about Chin?
I think it's a good chance to start your business, because every designer want to have their label. I think this is a good way to work with your idea for the customer. And then, but I think you have to get some more experience for the graduate people, graduate student. I think they have to get some more experience to design company or work with the designer as like an internship, and then know more the industry, and then incubation program is good for them.
Okay, so different opportunities also work very well. Okay, thank you so much. And I would like to ask you all remain seated and let's take a picture together. Center, please. This way, center. And now would all our guests please proceed to the front of the stage. Let's have another picture. Let's get closer to each other. A big smile to the camera. Thank you so much, Professor. And our guest speaker, please be seated and you can take a rest. Thank you. Thank you so much. So now we're going to have a lunch break. Please be reminded that the afternoon session will start at 2:30 p.m. today, and it will be conducted in Cantonese. As a kind reminder to help us improve, we appreciate if you could spare a few minutes time to scan the QR code on the screen and to complete the online feedback form. Thank you so much for your participation in this morning, and we will see you right after lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Here comes to the end of the session. 今日嘅研討會圓滿結束，再次多謝講者精彩嘅分享。Before we finish, please be reminded to register as buyer of the International Sourcing Show and log on to our AI-powered Click-to-Match business matching platform to meet with your potential suppliers. 喺完結之前，請記得登記成為網上採購會嘅買家。透過我哋嘅人工智能相對易平台同供應商見面。Once again, on behalf of the HKTDC, thank you for your participation. And apart from the session just now, we have more webinars on International Sourcing Show Online Intelligence Hub. Please visit Intelligence Hub on our ISS website and gain insights from industry experts. Thanks again for joining us today. If you are interested in registering as buyer, please stay on and we'll show you a short video to take you through the steps. Wish you fruitful business in the International Sourcing Show Online. Thank you. 再次多謝咁多位今日嘅參與。如果你有興趣登記成為買家，請留步觀賞一個簡短嘅教學片段。多謝，再見。